This is the crossing of the staffs, which means that anybody that is not an officer or above may come up to the podium. La Yasha'Allah, which means to Israel. Majum, which means to stand. Wapunya Hakidam, which means to turn and face the east. This is the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabashamayim, Quadash, Haya, Shimka, Yahweh, Malakwaka, Taba'ah, Ratazayaka, Haya, Aisha, Ba'a Rataza, Kawar, Haya, Bashamayim, Nathan, Lanawa, Lakam, Ko, Yawam, Wasalakanawa, Kwabawathanawa, Kasalakanawa, Kwabawathanawa, Wala'a, Tabayayanawa, Banasaya 1, Abo, Hawashayanawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha'ala, Wa the Parith, the Amalamyam, Aman. This is the Lord's Prayer in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. So be it. This is the prayer for the Hakak, or the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Baba Kusha, Nathananahu, Hakak, Hakak, La Rapa'ah, Kamakala, Wakar Madawa, Hakak, La Tahor, Hamatazarayim, Hakak, La Hakim, Hamathium, Hakak, Arakawath, Hatama Allah, Lagarshan, Ba'ashim Yahushai, the Wadaman. The prayer for the power in the English. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out in the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. The prayer for the blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatha Yahweh, wa Yahushua, Wam Yaka'ala, wa Alahayim, Matazavya, Alawap Yahana, Ha Alawapyum, Hazaranyum, Ha Quatazayanyum, Ha Kayayayum, wa Aquathium, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, to what Aman. The blessings in the English. Bless you, Yahweh, and Yahushai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yohanan, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushai, thank you, so be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayanya, Al-Hahariam, Ma'ayan, Yaba'ah, Isaiah, Ma'ayin, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayam, Wa'aratazah, Al-Yatan, Lamawat, Rogolka, Al-Yanawam, Shemarka, Hana, La'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yayashan, Shawamar, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shemarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al, Yad, Yamyaka, Yawamam, Hashemash, La'ah, Yakaka, Wayarak, Baya'ala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makol, Rai, Yashamar, Athnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Tazaahka, Wabawa'aka, Ma'aitha, Wa'aid, Awulam. Psalms 121 in the English. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, all Damayah, Lakad, all Thakarash, Wa'al, Dashukwat, all Kaya, Hana, Awayabyaka, Yahama, Yawan, Ra'ash, Al Aimaka, Ya'arayamwa, Sawada, Wayatha, Ya'itazawa, Al Tazapawanyaka, Amarawa, Lakawa, Wanakidam, Magoya, Wala'ah, Yazakar, Shan, Yasha'ala, Iwada, Kaya, Nawa'itazawa, Labah, Yakadawa, Al Yaka, Baryath, Yakarathwa, Ahoya, Adawam, Wayashamai, Alayam, Mawa'aba, Wahagariam, Gabal, Wa'amawan, Wa'amalak, Palashah, Ain, Yeshabia, Tazawar, Gan, Ashawar, Nalawa, Ayamam, Hayawa, Zarawai, Labanya, Lawat, Selah, Aisha, Laham, Kamadian, Kasa Yasara, Kayabian, Banaka'o, Kayashawan, Nashamadwa, Ba'ayan Da'ara, Hayawa, Daman, La Adama, Shaithamwa, Nana, Yab Mawa, Ka'arab, Wakaza'aba, Wakazabak, Wakatazal, Manai, Ka, Nasayakamwa, Ashar, Amarawa, Nayarashah, Lanawa, Na'awah. Oh, it's like Alahayam. Alahayam. Shaitamwa. Kagogola. Kakwash. Lapanya. Roka. Ka'ash. Daba'ira. Ya'ira. Wakalahawa. Dalahat. Harayam. Khan. Daradapma. Basa Irika. Wabasa. Wapaka. Dabahalam. Mala'ah. Panyaham. Kwalawan. Wayabakashwa. Shimka. Yahawa. Yabashwa. Wayaba'awa. Idea. Ai. Wayakaparawa. Wayabadwa. Wayadaiwa. Kaya. Ata. Shimka. Yahweh. Labarka. Al Yawan. Al. Ka. Ha'aratazah. Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace. And be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. A sword also is joined with them. They have holpen the children of Lot. Selah, do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Arad, and like Zeid, yea, all their princes as Zeba and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. O Yahweh, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth a wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Yahweh, let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth. So, which means to turn. Yeshaviah, be seated. We're going to be in the book of Numbers, chapter 31, verse 50. Starting off in the Blue Letter Bible, and out of that we'll get it out of the physical Bible or sword. Stand, make sure you share the class or Salaki Sabbath service, and tag every single Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian into the service so our people can learn a little something about our culture. You understand? Our real culture, and not something that was just given to us or that was altered to be a bastardization of our culture, or something it is that we just searched out as a people because we're ultimately searching for an identity as a nation. And through that search, we end up taking on, the religion, You understand? We take on the customs, we take on the culture of these other nations, when in reality, we have our own culture as a people. You understand? We have something that belongs to us as a nation, even though we've never had anything that belonged to us as a people. You understand? We've always been the slaves of America. You understand? We've always been the undesired people in this earth. And because of that, because of our culture being lost, because of slavery and the oppression it is that we've gone through for over 400 years, you understand, we don't really have, any identity as a nation. You understand? But thankfully, through the Lord, the ISUBK is showing our people who it is that we are, and we're showing our people our culture, who it is that we are as a people. It's only a matter of time before we get with the program and get down with this truth. So, but we're going to go ahead and get the book of Numbers, chapter 31, verse 50 in the Hebrew. Slack. When a Korab, Ath, Koraban, Yahweh, Ayash, Ashar, Matazah, Kalya, Kalalya, Slakia, Kalalya, Zahab, Atazaidah, Wa Tazamayad, Taba'aith, Agayol, Wakama, Slaki, Wakawamaz, Lakapar, Al, Yapashath Yanawa, Lapanya, Yahweh, verse 51. Wayakwak, Mashah, Wa'alai, Slaki, Wa'alaizar, Hakahan, Ath, Hazahab, Ma'athum, Kal, Kalya, Kalalya, Slakia, Ma'isha, verse 52. Wa Yahaya, Kal, Zahab, Ha Tarawama, Ashar, Ha Rayamwa, La Yahweh, Shashah, Ashar, Halap, Shabai, Ma'awath, Wa Kamashiam, Shaqual, Ma'ath, Sharalia, Ha'alapium, Wama'ath, Sharalia, Ha'ma'awath, Ha'ma'awath, verse 31. Anashia, Hatazabah, Bazazawa, Ayash, Lawa. Verse 54. Wayakwak, Mashah, Wa ala Izar, Hakahan, Ath, Hazahab, Ma'ath, Sha'arya, Ha'alapium, Wahamo, Slakia, Wahamawath, Wayaba'alwa, Athawa, All, Ahal, Mawa'aid, Zakarwan, Labanya, Yasha'ala, Lapanya, Yahweh, Pa. Book of Numbers, chapter 32, verse 1 in the Hebrew. Wa Makwana, Rab, Hayaha, Labanya, Ra'awaban, Wa Labanya, Gad, Itazawam, Ma'ad, Wa Yira'awa, Ath, Arataza, Yaizar, Wa Ath, Arataza, Galaid, Wa Hana, Hamakwawam, Makwawam, Makwana. Verse 2. Wayiba'alwa, Banya, Gad, Wabanya, Ra'awaban, Wa Ya'amaran. It's like it. It's like it. Wa Ya'amarawa, All, Masha, Wa All, Allah Izar, Hakahan, Wa All, Nasha, it's like it. Nasha Ya'alya, Ha'ida, La Amar. That's 7. Let's clap that up. So we're going to go ahead and get get it in the English. This is the book of Numbers, chapter 31 and verse 50 in the English. We have therefore brought an oblation for the Lord, what every man hath gotten of jewels, of gold, chains and bracelets, rings, earrings, and tablets, to make an atonement for our souls before the Lord. 51. And Moses and Eleazar the priest took the gold of them, even all wrought jewels. Verse 52. It's lucky. And all the gold of the offering that they offered up to the Lord, of the captains of thousands and of the captains of hundreds, was 16,750 shekels. Verse 53. For the men of war had taken spoil, every man for himself. 54. And Moses and Eleazar the priest took the gold of the captains of thousands and of hundreds and brought it into the tabernacle of the congregation for a memorial for the children of Israel. Book of Numbers, chapter 32, verse 1. Now the children of Reuben and the children of Gad had a very great multitude of cattle. And when they saw the land of Jazer and the land of Gilead, that behold, the place was a place for cattle. Verse 2. The children of Gad and the children of Reuben came and spake unto Moses and to Eleazar the priest and unto the princes of the congregation, saying, verse 3, Adaroth and Dibon and Jazer and Nimrah and Heshbon and Elealah and Shabam and Nebo and Beon. Verse 4. Even the country which the Lord smote before the congregation of Israel is a land for cattle, and thy servants have cattle. Verse 5. Wherefore said they, if we have found grace in thy sight, let this land be given unto thy servants for a possession, and bring us not over Jordan. Verse 6. And Moses said unto the children of Gad and to the children of Reuben, shall your brethren go to war, and shall ye sit here? Verse 7. And wherefore discourage ye the heart of the children of Israel from going over into the land which the Lord hath given them? You understand? So right now we're going over tribe of Gad and Reuben, who decided they didn't want to no longer, fight and go to war. They wanted to settle down, tend to cattle, live a good old farm life. You understand? Regardless of their brethren not really having, any land it is that they could occupy. You understand? Because at this time, we were still conquering lands and acquiring, what at the time was known as the nation of Israel. And Moses had to check them brothers and let them know, like, how is it that you're not going to, go to war when your brothers are still at war? You know, when your brothers still have to fight for their land, like, you aren't losing any of your tribe to battles, but yet your brethren, they got to take the brunt of what's going on. Like, you understand, and not wanting to go to war with your brothers or to see things all the way through with your brothers. That shows, a lack of a really brotherhood it is that we have as a people. You understand? We had it back then. Back then, we was only worrying about ourselves and what it is that we wanted, over the entirety of the nation. And brothers and sisters really still have that same spirit today. You understand? Today, brothers and sisters, will sit there and say, oh, well, natives or the tribe of Gad, yes, and they still got, they got their own land, they got their own government, their own culture and their customs and all that, but they're ignoring the absolutely crippling poverty it is that the tribe of Gad is in, so-called native Indians. You understand? They ignore the sisters that are being sex trafficked, the children that are being molested. You understand? They ignore the drug and alcohol problems that are going on within our communities, within the reservations. They're ignoring all these different things. Of course, the police brutality, the murders it is that we face, you understand, the discrimination. Like, America has taught us as a people to be absolutely selfish and to only focus on ourselves, to only focus on the well-being of our people. You understand? That's why it is we can't ever concern ourselves with what's going on with another tribe. But one thing we don't realize is that when we only focus on ourselves, like, individually as a tribe, it's like, you got African Americans only focusing on themselves, you got natives only focusing on themselves, Mexicans, Cubans, Hondurans, Puerto Ricans, all the different tribes only trying to focus on themselves. It doesn't benefit us, and really it leads to our downfall. Because the only time it is we can really make something out of nothing, the only time we can actually come up out of this hell it is we live in, is if we come together as a nation and show brotherhood towards one another. You understand? Brotherhood is absolutely a weapon. And the brothers that went out to the mission to Acuna, or just Acuna in Mexico, you understand, they showed how brotherhood was a weapon. You understand? When the Haitians got rejected by America and were being beat from horseback, you understand, and being deprived of resources and forced into another land that they didn't know anything about, you understand, didn't speak any of the language, none of that. You understand? The ISUPK, we showed up there to help them brothers. You understand? Like, we didn't just sit there and say, oh, well, we got enough problems here in America within the ghettos, within the reservations. You understand? We can't worry about, brothers and sisters that were pushed across the border. We got to focus on ourselves. The ISUPK under commanding General Yohana, we didn't say that. You understand? But instead, them brothers, they raised, I believe it was like $10,000. You understand? They had a caravan of vehicles and trucks, box trucks, everything you could think of. And they took an abundance of supplies out there to the so-called Haitians or the tribe of Levi. And they helped them brothers and sisters. You understand? They gave them what it is that they needed in order to survive. And that just goes to show you how the ISUPK teaches our people not to be selfish. You understand? We teach our people to be selfless. You understand? To worry about the entire nation rather than ourselves. And that's something it is that our nation so desperately needs. Verse 8. Thus did your fathers when I sent them from Kadesh Barnea to see the land. Verse 9. For when they went up unto the valley of Eshcol and saw the land, they discouraged the heart of the children of Israel, that they should not go into the land which the Lord had given them. Verse 10.
And the Lord's anger was kindled the same time, and he sware, saying, 11, surely none of the men that came up out of Egypt from the 20 years old and upward shall see the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob, because they have not wholly followed me. Verse 12, save Caleb the son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite, and Joshua the son of Nun, for they have wholly followed the Lord. Verse 13, and the Lord's anger was kindled against Israel, and he made them wander in the wilderness 40 years until all the generation that had done evil in the sight of the Lord was consumed. You understand? And by us not doing what it is that the Lord has commanded for us to do as a people, you understand, and not showing brotherhood towards one another as a nation, just like, it caused for so many of our people to, really suffer and die. Like the same thing, it's happening now. By us not coming back to these laws, statutes, and commandments and living our lives how the Lord told us to, matter of fact, commanded us to, you understand, gave us an order to live our lives this way. By us not coming back to these scriptures, to our customs and our culture, like it really leads to us suffering longer as a people, for us facing more and more hardships until eventually we get the message, until eventually we understand that unless we come back to these scriptures right here and join together as a whole, so like as a nation, we're not going to get out of this condition we're living in. You understand? We're going to remain at the bottom, and we're going to suffer in absolute hell until we get with the program. You understand? Verse 14, and behold, ye are risen up in your father's stead, an increase of sinful men, to augment yet the fierce anger of the Lord toward Israel. 15, for if ye turn away from after him, he will yet again leave them in the wilderness, and ye shall destroy all this people. You understand? And that's exactly what our people have been doing for these past 400 years. You understand? We've been turning away from the Lord, and we've been turning towards, these heathen nations. We've been turning towards ourselves. We haven't been doing what is commanded of us as a people. And really, we can thank the Christian church for us living, this lifestyle it is that we live today. Because if it wasn't for the Christian church, our people would believe that the laws of God were not done away with. You understand? Our people would look through these scriptures and they would see how Christ is a black man, so like a so-called black man from the tribe of Judah. They would see how all the priests and prophets are the undesired people of this earth, the slaves of this earth, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. That's why this organization is so important. You understand? Like that's why the Lord had to give us the Isupk under commanding General Yohana, so that we wouldn't turn our back on the Lord. You understand? So that we would walk in his statutes and his commandments. And so we would show brotherhood towards one another. Because if not, who's going to teach us to do so? Who's going to give us a real moral standard to live by and show us how to truly love one another? It's not the Black Panther Party. You understand? It's not the Christian church. It's not the nation of Islam or Muslims as a whole. It's not no conscious community, because all of these different communities or organizations, they all really hate each other's guts. Because at the end of the day, they get their teachings from heathens And heathens, I mean, they hate us. You understand? We'll love the heathen doctrine it is that we follow along with the heathens that gave it to us, but we won't ever love our own. Verse 16. And they came near unto him and said, we will build sheepfolds here for our cattle, and cities for our little ones. 17. But we ourselves will go ready armed before the children of Israel until we have brought them unto their place. And our little ones shall dwell in the fenced cities because of the inhabitants of the land. 18. We will not return unto our houses until the children of Israel have inherited every man his inheritance. 19. For we will not inherit with them on yonder side Jordan or forward, because our inheritance is fallen to us on this side Jordan eastward. You understand? So these two brothers, was it Gad and Reuben, you know what I'm saying? Instead, they went to Moses and, let him know, we'll just build us our cities, you understand, and we'll build our enclosures for our livestock. We'll build it in these lands, but we'll still go out to war for our brothers. You understand? We'll still show them that brotherhood that we know our people need in order to acquire, not only the resources and the goods, you understand, the respect it is that we are to have as a people, but in order to really acquire the freedom it is that we need as a nation. You understand? Because without this brotherhood, we are going to remain slaves in this empire. And thankfully, the Lord showed us through Christ or Yahweh the true spirit of these scriptures. You understand? The true spirit of these laws, statutes, and commandments, which is, really brotherhood. You understand? For us to really love one another and to come back together as a nation. Because without these scriptures right here, without the brotherhood, you understand that these two brothers showed back then, that we show till this day in the ISUBK. I mean, we would just utterly hate one another. There would be no chance in us coming together and showing real love towards one another. You understand? We might like the idea of, empowering one another as a people, but at the end of the day, all that, different empowerment it is that we've gone through by following these different organizations, it's all really failed. You understand? It's just something that we can say or do in order to earn the praises from those within our communities. You understand? But when those praises start to die down, or when they're just gone, then what is it that these different organizations really offer? When you're not getting praised by, your neighbor, all of a sudden, oh well, this ain't doing nothing. I'm not getting any satisfaction out of it, so I'm gonna just go back to doing what I was doing. You saying, I know I was raising up the community, but I'm gonna just go back and be a drug dealer. You understand? Brothers messed with me more when I was a drug dealer. You understand? I'm gonna go back to being a whore. The community, they liked me more when I was a whore. I had a good standing with my mother. Like this truth is so detrimental for our people. Verse 20. And Moses said unto them, if ye will do this thing, if you will go armed before the Lord to war. 21. and will go all of you armed over Jordan before the Lord until he hath driven out his enemies from before him. 22. And Salagi, I'm read 21 from the top. And will go all of you armed over Jordan before the Lord until he hath driven out his enemies from before him. Understand? This just lets you know that the nations it is that the children of Israel went to war with, not only was it our enemies, but they were enemies of the Lord, showing you that God, he don't love everybody. You understand? Not everybody was chosen to get, the blessings and the covenant and the promises it is that the children of Israel have gotten. 22. And the land be subdued before the Lord, then afterward ye shall return and be guiltless before the Lord and before Israel, and this land shall be your possession before the Lord. 23. But if ye will not do so, behold, ye have sinned against the Lord, and be sure your sin will find you out. 24. Build you cities for your little ones, and folds for your sheep, and do that which hath proceeded out of your mouth. 25. And the children of Gad and the children of Reuben spake unto Moses, saying, Thy servants will do as my Lord commandeth. 26. Our little ones, our wives, our flocks, and all our cattle shall be there in the cities of Gilead. 27. But thy servants will pass over, every man armed for war, before the Lord to battle, as my Lord saith. Yes, and just to remind our people, just like from previous weeks, like our people, we aren't no, pacifists, all loving sissies like America has forced us to be. You understand? Our men, we are supposed to be men of war. You understand? We're supposed to be able to stand up for our nation, for our culture, for our laws, and be able to defend them when necessary. We should be able to go to war when necessary. But because of Christianity, our people, we really become, damn, what's that word? God damn it, what's that word? Word I'm looking for. Yes, and we really become subservient. Like it. I don't know why it took me so long. We really become subservient to these other nations, especially to our oppressor, understand, Esau, or the so-called, white man. You understand? We really, really became, someone that is looking for, forgiveness or love when we haven't done anything that warrants forgiveness. You understand? When we shouldn't be looking for love from these people when they've been oppressing us for so very long. But that's what happens when we follow the religions of another nation. You understand? We seek out their love. You understand? We looked at to find some sort of unity with these other nations when they've never had any kind of intention to join together with us like that. That's why we got to come back to these scriptures, and we got to come back together as a nation. So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians as a whole, why we have to come back as a people. You understand? By doing so, you understand, then maybe we can start to really get back that masculine spirit it is we're supposed to have as a nation. And sisters, you get back that feminine spirit. You understand? You let the men go out to war and fight the battles, face the conflicts, you understand, do all of that for our people. 28. So concerning them, Moses commanded Eleazar the priest and Joshua the son of Nun and the chief fathers of the tribes of the children of Israel. 29. And Moses said unto them, if the children of Gad and the children of Reuben will pass with you over Jordan, every man armed to battle before the Lord, and the land shall be subdued before you, then ye shall give them the land of Gilead for possession. 30. But if they will not pass over with you armed, they shall have possessions among you and the land of Canaan. 31. And the children of Gad and the children of Reuben answered, saying, as the Lord hath said unto thy servants, so will we do. 32. We will pass over armed before the Lord into the land of Canaan, that the possession of our inheritance on this side Jordan may be ours. 33. And Moses gave unto them, even to the children of Gad and to the children of Reuben, and unto half the tribe of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, the kingdom of Sion, king of the Amorites, and the kingdom of Og, king of Bashan, the land with the cities thereof and the coasts, even the cities of the country round about. 34. And the children of Gad built Dibon and Adaroth and Aror. 35. And Adaroth, Shophan, and Jazer, and Jogbaha. 36. And Beth Nimrah and Beth Haran, fenced cities and folds for sheep. 37. And the children of Reuben built Heshbon and Elealah and Kirjathaim. 38. And Nebo and Baalmeon, their names being changed, and Shibmah, and gave other names unto the cities which they builded. And the children of Machir, the son of Manasseh, went to Gilead and took it, and dispossessed the Amorite which was in it. 40. And Moses gave Gilead unto Machir, the son of Manasseh, and he dwelt therein. 41. Jair, the son of Manasseh, went and took the small towns thereof, and called them Havathjair. 42. And Nobah went and took Kanath and the villages thereof, and called it Nobah after his own name. Chapter 33. Book of Numbers, chapter 33, verse 1. These are the journeys of the children of Israel, which went forth out of the land of Egypt, with their armies under the hand of Moses and Aaron. Verse 2. And Moses wrote their goings out according to their journeys by the commandment of the Lord, and these are their journeys according to their goings out. Verse 3. And they departed from Ramesh in the first month on the 15th day of the first month, On the morrow after the Passover, the children of Israel went out with an high hand in the sight of all the Egyptians. Slakia. All right, just the priest behind the podium, imajum, which means to stand.
La Yasha'Allah, which means to Israel. Amajum, which means to stand. Upanya Hakidam means to turn and face the east. This is the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabashamayim, Quadash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakwaka, Taba'ah, Ratazayaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawar, Hayah, Bashamayim, Nathan, Lanawa, Lakam, Ko, Yawum, Wasalakanawa, Kwabuwathanawa, Kasalakanawa, Kwabuwathinawa, Wala'ah, Dabayayanawa, Banasaya 1, Abal, Hawashayanawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwat, Waha'ala, Watapara, La'alalamyum Aman. This is the Lord's Prayer in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. So be it. The prayer for the Hakak, or the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Babakushai, Nathanawa, Hakak, Hakak, La Raba'ah, Kamakala, Wukal Madawa, Hakak, Lazahar, Hamatazarayim, Hakak, La Hakim, Hamathium, Hakak, Al Rakawath, Hatama Allah, Lagarshan, Ba'ashim Yahushai, the water Almighty. The prayer for the power in the English. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you, so be it. The prayer for the blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatha Yahweh, wa Yahweh Shai, Wam Yaka'ala, wa Ahayim, Matazadya, Alawap Yahana, Ha-Alawapyam, Hazaranyam, Ha-Kwatazayanyam, Ha-Kayayam, wa-Akwathian, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahusha, the Wad-Aman. Prayer for the blessings in the English. Bless you, Yahweh, and Yahweh Shai, and Michael, and the angels, commanding General Yahana, the generals, the captains, the officers, the troopers, and the sisters. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you, so be it. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayanya, Al-Hahariam, Ma'ayan, Yaba'ah, Izaria, Ma'ayin, Yahweh, Aisha, Shamayam, Wa'aratazah, Al-Yathan, Lamuwat, Regolka, Al-Yanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yashun, Shawamar, Yasha'ala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazolka, Al, Yad, Yamyaka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'ah, Yakaka, Wayarak, Baya'ala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makor, Rai, Yashamar, Athnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza'athka, Wa'aka, Ma'aitha, Wa'aid, Awulam. Psalms 121 in the English. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alahayim, all Damayah, Lakah, all Dakarash, or all Dashakwat, all Kayah, Hanan, our Yabyaka, Yahamam, Yawan, Ra'ash, Al Aimaka, Ya'arayamwa, Sawada, Wayatha, Ya'atazawa, Al Tazapawanyaka, Amarwa, Lukawa, Wanakidam, Magoya, Wala'ah, Yadakar, Sham, Yasha'ala, Iwada, Kaya, Noah Itazawa, Labak, Yakadwa, Al Yaka, Baryak, Yakarathwa, Aholia, Adawam, Wayashmai, Aliyam, Mawa'aba, Wahagarium, Gabal, Wa'aimawan, Wa'amalak, Palashah, Aim, Yashabia, Tazawar, Gam, Ashawar, Nalawat, Imam, Hayawat, Zarawai, Labanya, Lawat, Selah, Aisha, Laham, Kamadian, Kasa Yasara, Kayabian, Balakaal, Kayashawan, Nasha Amadwa, Bayan Da'ara, Hayawa, Daman, La Adama, Shaitamwa, Nara, Yab Mawa, Ka'irab, Wakaza'aba, Wakazabak, Wakatazal, Manai, Ka, Nasayakamwa, Ashar, Amarwa, Nayarasha, Lanawa, Ah, Nawa, Alhayam, Alhaya, Shaithamwa, Kago Gola, Kakwash, Lapanya, Rawaka, Kaash, Tabaira, Yaira, Wakalahaba, Talahat, Harayam, Khan, Taradatma, Basaarika, Wabasa, Wapatka, Tabahalam, Mala'ah, Panyaham, Kwalawan, Wayabakashwa, Shumka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Wayabaowa, Ai, Wayakaparwa, Wayabadwa, Wayadaiwa, Kaya, Atha, Shumka, Yahawa, Labadka, Al Yawan, Al, Kal, Ha'aratazah. Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, Gabal, and Evan, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have holpen the children of Lot. Selah, do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as the Jabin, at the brook of Kisan, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like a red, and like Zeeb. Yea, all their princes as Zeba and as Amunah, who said, Let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. O Yahweh, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, and as the flame set the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Yahweh, let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High over all the earth. So, which means to turn. Akwatim Yeshabi, which means to be seated. I'm going to give a salute to the brothers, men of Israel. Imadim Shabbat, Amadim, Barak, Yahweh Shem Yahusha Barakatum, Yadu Matah. Sisters, or Slakia, Akwathian Imajum, which means to stand. Sar, turn and face the sisters. Salute to the sisters, men of Israel. Imadium Shabbat. Imadium Barak. Yahweh Shema Alatam Ba'ashem Yahushua. Yadu Matah. Sabbath service dismissed.